What's up, dude?
Hey, Dad.
What are you doing?
Not much.
Oh, you're riding a bike, huh?
Yep. I'm barefoot, so I can't really stop.
Oh. Alright. See you later.
Yep, bye.
Been sitting in that chair too long. That's where I waste all my time. So, we're going to talk about PCV valves. Specifically, this PCV valve. It's weird looking, right? So this is for a Pentastar 3.6. Any Chrysler minivan, Jeep, or like this Chrysler 300, they have the 3.6 liter. It's called Pentastar. And this particular car is here because it's got an oil consumption problem, meaning I pulled the dipstick out, there's no oil on it. It actually had a fault code in it for oil pressure. One of the problems that's not unique to this engine or this vehicle is oil consumption due to a bad PCV valve, a stuck open PCV valve primarily. PCV stands for positive crankcase ventilation, and there's a little valve. If you shake it, you can hear that little valve in there, and what that allows the car to do is to take the excessive blow-by that builds up in the crankcase of the engine and run it back through the intake and burn it. If the valve sticks open, it'll actually create a vacuum inside the crankcase and it'll burn all your oil up without you knowing it. And I think that's what's going on here because there's no leaks, it's bone dry underneath. The car just hit 100,000 miles, which by the way is the recommended interval for this PCV valve. And let me give you the picture of the box there, V500. So I'm going to show you how to change this PCV valve on this Chrysler 300. Any Jeep or Chrysler vehicle with the 3.6 liter, it's going to be the same, but the level of difficulty changes. This is probably the easiest one that I know of. And if you're watching this video and you own a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a 3.6, I feel for you because that's terrible. That is by far the hardest, the most difficult one to remove the PCV valve from, in my experience. So this is super easy. Let's get started. The PCV valve was located on the passenger side of the engine all the way back against the firewall. So we're going to pop this plastic decorative cover off. Give us a little bit of room. With that cover off, we can see right back here on the end of the valve cover is the PCV valve. This is the hose going to it. And there's two bolts or two screws that hold it in. They are a Torx. They are a T20. There's one here and there's one on the bottom. It seals into the valve cover with an O-ring. And if you're ever working on one of these engines and you're trying to pull this valve cover off, you have to unbolt and remove the PCV valve before this will come off, or something will break. You can take it off, but you're going to break either the valve cover or that PCV valve. So you have to remove that PCV valve before you can remove this valve cover. First thing we want to do is remove this tube out of the way, and we want to get this little rubber elbow off of the PCV valve. I'm just using a hose tool to kind of break it loose a little bit here. Oh, she's on there. There it goes. Okay, let's push that out of the way for right now. Now there's just two screws, one on the top, one on the bottom, that hold that on there. We'll pull those out. The bottom one's pretty tough to see. You just mostly just do it by feel. Maybe, if I can do it. with the 2 screws removed, this just pulls straight back out of the valve cover. It's always a good idea to compare your parts, your old part with your new part, just to make sure you got the right part. And what do we see here? The new one's got a smaller hole. I wonder if that had something to do with people complaining about oil consumption on these. Could be purely coincidental, but this is where the oil would, or the the oil too, the air would enter the PCV system. It's always a good idea to make sure the O-ring is intact. That's what seals it right there. That O-ring. We'll put the new one in place. She fits nice and snug. I did find that other screw I dropped. Thank God it hit the floor. So that's all there is to it. It's that easy on this car. If you have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, maybe the Durango, they're going to be in the same exact location. They're just going to be harder to get at because of the cab forward design and the fact that the valve cover is pushed so far back into the firewall. But it's easy. You can still do it yourself. It'll just take a little bit longer. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Check out all my other videos. You know how it goes. Thanks. What's up, dude?
Hey, Dad.
What are you doing?
Not much.
Oh, you're riding a bike, huh?
Yep. I'm barefoot, so I can't really stop.
Oh. All right.